As always, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell to be notified for future videos. Hello, and welcome back to the fish tank. I am Cole. So me and Somo Diecast have teamed up in a friendly build-off. And what we're building is this 1968 El Camino, made by Hot Wheels. And I gotta ask, have any of you ever had a casting that you thought was completely ugly and you would really like to change it? Well, this is the casting that I thought was super ugly. And today, we're going to change that. Let's jump into it. So this is what we're working with, guys. We're working with a 1968 El Camino made by Hot Wheels. And my goal is for today is to give it a wheel swap, repaint it, and just make it look like an El Camino, because I'm going to toss that ugly wing, and we're also going to toss that ugly engine. But first, we're going to pry this car apart after we drilled it, as you saw there, and we're going to inspect the pieces. So what we have is our base. It's a metal base. We got our plastic interior piece. We have our glass, and we're mocking up things right now because I want to get rid of this wing and the ugly engine piece that comes with it. So what I'm going to start with before I get to that is I'm going to file down my post like I always do. Once we finish filing my post, we are going to move on to our cutting process of our wing and our engine. Alright, so this is what I'm working with. This is the part of the car that I want to get rid of. So in the bed, there is that ugly engine that I will use possibly for something else, and that wing. So I'm just making it very, very simple for myself. I'm just going to make a line on where and what I want to keep. So I kind of changed my mind midstream of all this. So I was trying to, first, you saw me put that line on that wing. All I'm going to do is cut it off. But for the engine, I'm trying to mock up and see where the back panel, so it lines up for like the back of the bed. Sorry, I couldn't think of my words, because I want to make a new like bed or for the El Camino, because I wanted to make it look more realistic. I think it looks pretty good, but it's all depending on you guys. So what I'm going to first do is I made my line like I just said, and now I'm going to snip it off. Again, I am not using my Dremel. I am making it more challenging for myself. So once we cut that off, it looks good. It's all smooth. There's our engine piece, and now we're going to move on to our wing. It's bent up, so I just grabbed my snippers again, and we're just going to snip them off. Once we do get all these pillars snipped, we are going to grab a file, and we are going to move on and sand it down as smooth as I can, even though the little nubs you can't see, for one, and two, they don't really get in the way of our work. So it wasn't really a big problem for me. Also, I want to explain why me and Ron are doing this. So I said, hey, we should do a build-off. And he's like, okay, sure. What kind of cars do you want to do? So I sent him a picture of like 4 cars that I want to work on in the next coming months. And he's like, alright, I think I got the El Camino. And I was like, cool. So about an hour later, he sent me a picture. He's like, here's my El Camino. I was like, cool. So that's the build we decided on. And I was actually pretty excited for this one. I got this one started right away. I had my idea in my head for a while, and I kind of just did a lot of the body and the trunk work like in one night. Like I just spent like 3 to 4 hours on this, and I just was busting it out as hard and as fast as I could, and I did a really good job. So why I cut off the wing, as you saw earlier, and the motor on the interior piece here, is because I wanted to make this El Camino a traditional El Camino. Like I said, the engine it's ugly, the wing's ugly, and I think this car deserves a better look. So what I did was I grabbed some thin styrene. It took me 3 tries to get to this point. and off camera, of course. And what my idea is to put this back here, put this here. We will end up gluing this to this. It'll have a small gap, but honestly, it won't bug me that much. Might do it again, but I'm not sure yet. And we're gonna put this on here, and then we're gonna put the base when the whole car is done. Maybe. Hang on. This is the idea I have. So it makes it look somewhat normal. So cool. Once we are done with this, guys, I'm gonna move on to stripping this car. I'll see you over there. Like I said, we're gonna start moving on to the stripping of the car process. So I'm just gonna take it apart because I let it sit overnight just because I was like, all right, I'm done for the night, you know. And we're just gonna push everything off to the side, and we're gonna grab our chum bucket. We're gonna shake it up, make sure we have enough fluid in there so we can coat our car thoroughly, and we're gonna undo it, drop the cap, and plop her in. Once we're done with that, we're gonna make sure it's tight, shake it, and you can just put it off to the side. If we are done with that, we're gonna move on to our base. So I removed the original wheels, as you see there, and now I'm gonna grab my wire brush and I'm gonna just go to town. So what I noticed when I was cleaning this base was nasty. It was disgusting. It was full of crap. There was a lot of grime on it, and all I wanted to do was just touch it up, like you see there. Like you can see the difference between the front and the back, and I just wanted to clean it up just to give it a good shine because it deserves to be as nice as the rest of the car, you know. So we're just gonna scrub the top and the bottom, and you can kind of see, if you look closely, you can see the dust that comes off of it. This thing was filthy, and I didn't really do much after this, but I do move on to putting some wheel routers that I found off a casting that I wasn't going to use, so I'm pretty excited to show that. And it gives it a real aggressive kind of, I guess, show car look, and I was very excited. And the problem I had once I moved on to the wheels, as you're about to see, is I didn't know what color to go with. I was debating on maroons and blues. But as you see here, I have my piece of wood and I put my base across it just so I can glue my wheels off. And my Gorilla Glue is still having problems. I really just need to go get a new tube, but I'm too lazy to go get one. And I grab a piece of metal. Yes, a piece of metal. And I seriously I plop it in there, get some glue on there, and I just dab it on to glue on the wheels. I made it more difficult for myself, but you know, it's what happens sometimes. You kind of, it's late at night and you don't know what's going on half the time, so you do some weird things. I bet you everyone's done it once or twice before. So after this, guys, I'm going to move on to working on the bed, and there's going to be a couple pictures and I'm going to talk about them just to explain what's going on. So I'll see you in a minute. So documenting this process was kind of difficult. As you see here, I got the styrene because that's going to be like my platform, and I started using toothpicks just to make my bed, and then I just measured them the size as you see there, and it took some time. It took about an hour to do this, and there it is, complete. After that, I stain it, and I'll explain more there. If you guys are curious on how I did this, let me know and I can make a video on it. So after that little slideshow, guys, I wanted to actually give you some footage of me working on the wooden bed here. So it was a very, very delicate process. So what I did was, as you saw, I cut to shape the toothpicks to the size so it will fit pretty much like this in the bed on top of the styrene. It'll look pretty cool. What I'm doing now, is I have my wood finisher. Yes, I'm going to actually use stain on a die-cast project. So what you're going to do is, normally if it's a big project, you're going to just use like a paper towel or a good-sized brush. But what I'm doing here is I'm going to grab a little brush and I'm going to lightly put it on. As well as to die cast, I do some woodworking on the side. I love woodworking, it's so fun. I can build tables, gun stands, fishing pole stands. What else? Bird houses. Those are my favorite. I love building bird houses for some reason. I don't know why. And a lot of other stuff. I made a lot of cool stuff out of wood. This is my first time making a very miniature bed for a die-cast car. And I'm actually very happy with it. I'm not gonna lie, I did see people do this online, so that's what it gave me the idea to do it. And I think it's turning out pretty cool so far. So let me zoom in for you guys so you can see that a little better. And then here's our first coat. Looks pretty cool. Alright guys, after this I'm gonna go clear coat this, and I will see you on bodywork. As always guys, this is the car after I got it out of the stripper. And we're going to start with our steel wool, just as our starting agent. Once we finish our car with our steel wool, we're going to move on to our wire brush. And then we're going to move on to some casting lines that were visible on the car. And I'm going to attend to those, and we're going to make this car look as best and as clean as possible. Moving on to our handy dandy file, and we're gonna work on some casting lines that I noticed. So on the driver's side, as you see here, there was a big casting line on the fender, and I know it was a casting line because it was just jagged and it wasn't really straight. So I really wanted to smooth that out as best as possible. I did touch it up on the other side, but that is for you to watch. When I'm doing this, guys, I like to make it as smooth as possible and as nice as possible. There was also some casting lines that were on the roof of the cab that were really noticeable, and a lot of these newer castings have them, so I like to tend to get rid of them. And another bad spot, really bad spot, is the back trunk lid here. There was just a gaping amount of die cast, or the casting line was just so visible and it was just ugly. So I had to get rid of that too. And we also did the roof, like I said, as you see there a little bit. We also touched up on the back, and we did a couple other things. Now, let's move on to paint. Cuda's Diecast Customs. We'll be right back. So this is the paint for our El Camino. I used another Testors rattle can paint. Went with a blue this time just because I thought it would fit the style of our build here. And it's very sparkly, look at that. Next I'm going to move on to details, and then we're going to move on to our final assembly. I'll see you over there. As I just mentioned, this is what we're doing now. We're going to move on to details. So what I detailed was the handles, door handles as always. We're going to do the rear tail lights. We're going to do the front markers. We're going to do the chrome on the hood, because I thought it was very necessary, and I was very disappointed with Hot Wheels that they didn't touch it up, because it really needed it. And we're also going to do the rear tailgate in black Testors, and we're going to, for the tail lights, my bad, we're going to fill them in with red Sharpie, because they really pop when you have a good clear coat on them, and it's just like very red. So when I go to the final assembly stage, guys, look closely at the rear tail lights, because they're very shiny, and I really was surprised how they turned out. I really hope you are enjoying this video that me and Ron put together. I wanted to thank him once again for letting me do this with him. I had a lot of fun, and I really want to do it again. So Ron, if you want to do this again, man, just let me know and we can set something up and we'll get started on it again. I had a lot of fun and I cannot wait to see your build, man. I'm very excited. Speaking of that, guys, if you do want to go see Ron's build, and I hope you would, because it's going to be awesome, please go check out his channel. His link will be down below, as always, and go check it out. I bet it's awesome, and it's probably going to look better than mine, but still, it's going to look awesome, and I cannot wait to see it. So, guys, make sure to go over to his page. Again, link will be down in the below. So, to add on to my build here, like I said, I got a black testers that I'm going to do the rear tailgate panel in black, just because I thought it would look right. And if you remember from my Porsche video, I did the same thing, and it really just brought out the car. Even though it was the rear, it still brought it out, and it just made it look awesome. And it was really my favorite part, to be completely honest, was painting and filling in this rear piece. Alright guys, after this, we're going to move on to our final assembly.
Hey guys, welcome back to our final assembly on our 1968 El Camino. So to start out, we got our base with our wheel riders on it. Very clean and looking like new. If you remember, on the back here, it was full of dirt and grime and stuff, and that wire brush really did clean up well. Next we have our interior. If you remember, we did take the ugly wing off that we really didn't want, and didn't really do much to the interior, but cut that wing off, so that's cool. Glass we cleaned up. Didn't really need to be cleaned at all, but it looks nice. Next we're going to move on to our interior. Well, I don't really know what to call this, but it's our outer shell piece. So I kept these as the original. I didn't touch them because I didn't think it was necessary. And if you remember, we cut off the big motor on the back because, remember, I thought it was ugly, so I thought it was necessary to cut it off. And we also did the details and re-chromed the bumper. And as you see here, we did the lights and we did the bottom reflectors. I didn't want to do the grill because I just thought it looked cool, but I might put some Nolan oil in there eventually, so that's cool. We got our new bed piece that we made out of the toothpicks, and we covered it in our stain, and then we clear coated it. And then here's our styrene piece that we painted with our wood paint. If you're curious, this is the Model Masters wood paint that I use. It's it's good stuff, and if you need it for like wood projects, it does look like wood when it does go on. And it's a good paint. I'm not sure if you can find this paint anymore, but I'm sure you can find paint just like it. So that's pretty cool. So put that down. And then lastly, of course, we got our casting. We went with the blue from Testers, looking very cool. We did the markers. We did the accent pieces up here in chrome. Did the door handles. Did the rear in black, the black place here, and we did our lights. What we did our rear lights was in a red Sharpie, and we used white Testers for the reverse lights. Alright guys, let's go see what we started with.
If you guys remember, this is what we started with. We started with a very simple and very cool casting of a 1968 El Camino, made by Hot Wheels. And I always thought the rear end of this car was always the ugliest looking thing in the world. So today, we got rid of both that big engine and that ugly wing. We added a new bed, we repainted it, put some cool new wheels on it, and made her look pretty again. Let's go see our final results.
And here is our final results, guys. Here is my entry for the secret build-off with Somo Diecast. As you see here, the wheels are redone and touched up with the chrome. The front end is also touched up with chrome and very detailed. We repainted the car and redid a new bed. It's a quite different look, but I think it turned out awesome. If you guys did enjoy this, let me and Ron know. Also guys, Ron's link to his channel and his video will be down below. So make sure to go check out his video as well. And let us know what you think of our builds and if we should do this again. Alright guys, I hope you had fun and enjoyed watching this. I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.
Hey guys, just as a reminder, if you're in the Massachusetts area and you're a hobbyist, make sure to go check out our good friend Mike Gordon and Kim Miller over at Turn 4 Hobbytown. We make your free time awesome.